We all are ready to accept this, but not dating somebody just because they support Donald Trump is not a good reason not to date them. People hear that and they think, but Joe, I want to end up with someone who shares my values. But we all have to remember that values are not philosophical aphorisms that we espouse. Values are how we walk and breathe and navigate our lives. And if you're the type of person that's going to end something with somebody just because they support the candidate that the other half of the country is supporting, what you're essentially saying that your values are is that you are really ideologically rigid, you're incredibly self-righteous in your morals, and you cannot accept influence from somebody who's different from you. I think that people who are like that don't actually want a partner. What they want is a fantasy. What they want is someone who's going to validate every feeling and belief that they have. That's not what I want. I want something real.
So first of all, I hope this guy isn't a real therapist. And if he is, it's concerning because it seems like he uses therapy as a way to rage bait. Yes, your politics are 100% based on your morals and values. I'm not sure what else this person thinks they're based off of. I feel like he's just saying words in a certain way to make it sound like that's not the case. First, he says that morals and values aren't philosophical aphorisms. Which philosophical aphorisms are short sayings that concisely express a moral principle. So, I'm just not sure why he said that. He said morals and values are how we navigate life. Yes, we navigate life based off of our morals and values. We're going to act certain ways based off of our morals and values. I just don't understand why he was trying to muddy the water when it came to that kind of language he's using. Yes, we do base our politics off of our morals and values. I'm not sure how you could think otherwise. So it's perfectly normal to want to date someone who has the same morals and values as you. Imagine if you really value human rights, like the rights of gay and trans people or the reproductive rights. Your partner doesn't value human rights. That's a big deal. You're going to walk and navigate your life differently because of that. It's going to be pretty important to share morals and values with your partner. Look up areas of relationship compatibility. The first on the list is shared values. Having the same values, goals, and beliefs can create a strong foundation for the relationship, which I feel like is extremely obvious and most of us know that. That's why we want to date people with shared morals and values. We want a strong foundation and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is not just about supporting a certain candidate like this guy's talking about. It's so much more than that, and pretending like it's not is dishonest in my opinion. Wanting a strong foundation with somebody is not self-righteous or ideologically rigid. It's just common sense. It's kind of like why a lot of people within certain religions seek out to date other people within their religion. I would not call them closed-minded or rigid. I would understand why they would want to come from the same foundation. I would think most people would understand that. It doesn't mean that you need them to agree with every single thing you say. Again, it just means that you want to have a strong foundation. Saying that just because you want a strong foundation with your partner, you want to live in a fantasy is so bizarre. Again, imagine saying that to somebody in a certain religion who is looking to date someone within that same religion. Telling them they are looking for a fantasy as if that's not everyday reality for so many people. I would argue that most people try to date within their moral belief system. This is nothing new for a reason. It makes sense that you would have less to argue about, less to fight about if you start at the same foundational level. And that doesn't make it any less real. Imagine you are somebody who wants your reproductive rights and your partner thinks that you don't deserve those rights. Imagine people you love and care about, you want them to have their rights, and your partner doesn't think they deserve those rights. It is absolutely 100% a moral and values thing. To pretend any different is blatantly dishonest. Again, I really hope this isn't a real therapist, but what can you do?
If you're trying to tell if a guy lied about voting for Harris in order to get into your pants and actually voted for Trump, here's a few easy ways you can tell. The first way is to ask him what him and his friends did on election night. Say something like, "My friends and I were out celebrating all night. We were having such a good time. What about you?" The same also applies for inauguration. Pretend like you're a little excited about it and feel him out. The second way is to go onto Donald Trump's Instagram and see if he's following him. And if you're on dating sites, I'd actually recommend that all my liberal girlies take off that they're liberal, because these guys will lie to you. And the third way is to go onto didmyfriendvote.org, type in their name along with their age to see if they voted, because those men also don't get kitty cat. And you may ask yourself, why would a conservative man want to date me as a liberal woman? Here's the kicker. They love liberal women. Taking down a wild, professional, successful, beautiful woman and keeping her at home in a more traditional role is like taking down a 10-point buck for them. It's about power. Don't fall for it, ladies. Hide your booms.
MAGA men are not attracted to MAGA women, and that's why the uniformity exists in the MAGA women culture. That's why their clothes, their hair, their makeup, their cars, their music, their food, even down to their body sense, all are very similar. It's because they know that their subserviency is what keeps them, in play, keeps them in the game of marriage, of wifeness, of life, whatever it is to them. But MAGA men, if they are not attracted to men, they are overwhelmingly attracted to alternative women. And I say that as somebody who used to be in MAGA and as a bartender here in the South. MAGA men love alt women. They love chubbier women. They love women with yitties. They love women with thighs. They love the tattoos. They love the piercings. They love the hair. Most MAGA men are not attracted to the women that they have children and, spend the rest of their life with. They are attracted to the subservientness. And this creator that I'm going to tag underneath has done a really great job of clocking the amount of young MAGA men that have been in alternative spaces lately, hitting on women. And it's just, it's just very much a full circle moment, because I've been trying to talk about this forever, and everyone who just wants to say, oh, you're being mean to women. No, these women have designed themselves to be in this certain situation. Therefore, that's the world that they live in. And, criticism is not always a bad thing.
Would you date a Trump supporter? Tell me in the comment section. Because according to a recent study, among Democrats and those who lean toward the Democratic Party who are single but looking for a relationship, about 71% say they probably or definitely would not consider being in a committed relationship with someone who voted for Donald Trump. In fact, 45% say they definitely would not consider seriously dating a Trump voter. Tell me your thoughts.
I married a Trump supporter, and this is how it went. Before I go into the story, I want to preface by saying that I believe there is a difference between a Trump supporter and a Republican. He would constantly say things like, build the wall. Even after I told him how hurtful and disrespectful hearing that was, because I came from a family of immigrants. Because of this experience that I had with my ex, being a Trump supporter is a deal breaker for me. The main reasons for this is because anytime me and my ex argued, he was always threatening to call ICE on my family. And the relationship was very abusive, but I stayed because of these threats. I felt guilty a lot of the times for putting my family at risk. He consistently used me as an example as to why he's not racist, because he married a Mexican. He basically treated me as an exception. One time we were at his family's house, and his Trump supporting family cornered me and harassed me about my political views. And I was in a corner like this, and I had like 3 females in front of me arguing with me. He watched this happen and didn't do anything about it. And it was not one of those healthy political discussions. They were literally hounding me. Just because he married me does not mean he respected me. I come from a town that I would say is predominantly conservative. Back then, I wasn't as outspoken as I am now, because I was still in the town at the time, and I did have a fear of speaking out because of how aggressive they were. Has anyone had similar experiences like these? And I know you might be wondering, but yes, I did divorce him.
I'm so nervous and feel so awful about what happens when November hits and food stamps don't roll out and all these kids and families and babies are just going to go hungry for no reason other than greed and hoarding. It's just awful. You shouldn't feel bad for them. I shouldn't feel bad for people that rely on food stamps to feed their families, and they're not going to be able to feed their families because they're not going to get food stamps because the government is being so evil. I shouldn't feel bad for them. No, I mean, like, what did they do with last month's food stamps? You ever think about that? They ate them. They used them to get food to eat. What did you do with last month's groceries? Well, that's different. I didn't spend my, grocery money on unhealthy foods and stuff. I bought like pantry staples and stuff that's gonna last like a long time, and maybe they should have been doing that instead of buying like luxuries. Like, food stamps aren't for luxuries. Food stamps aren't for food. Food isn't a Food isn't a luxury. Food is food. Every single person in the world should have access to food. You do realize that, right? I don't know. I just don't want my tax dollars going to people, misusing their food stamps. What the fuck are you even talking? You people are so evil. You people are so evil, it actually makes me feel like I'm going insane.
The creators of a right-wing dating app are frustrated right now. And to anyone who supports the Democratic platform, it's no surprise why. In 2022, a former Trump aide founded The Right Stuff dating app for conservative MAGA followers. It was backed financially by the co-founder of PayPal. Recently, the founders have shared their frustration that the app, unsurprisingly, is not attracting female users. Apparently, it's become quite the sausage fest because women are not interested in dating these types of men. But wait, it gets even worse. Now the creators are also complaining that there's not enough hot men on the dating app. It's bad enough when women aren't using the app. It's even worse when the men that are using it are pure twos. This brings up a great question from my followers. If you use a dating app like Hinge or Bumble, how quickly do you try to find out which political party the person you're talking to supports?
I was mistaken for a transgender woman, and it led to an escalation with a MAGA man. So let's get into it. This story is hysterical. But just to set the scene, I am a female assigned at birth. I'm married to a man who is a male at birth as well. So heterosexual couple for the most part. So we're getting snacks on our road trip. We're at a rest stop. And we go up to the counter, and it's kind of confusing. Like, we don't know where we're supposed to stand to check out, and we're sort of in a rush. We're going to a party. And so there's this man standing at one of the registers with all of his stuff on the counter, and there's people lined up behind him. So we're trying to figure out if we're supposed to go behind those people. The man says, "No, I'm just standing here. The line is over there behind that other person." Okay, no problem. So I start walking over there, and I get online where I'm supposed to, and I say in response, "Oh, I guess it was just confusing because it looked like there were two lines forming." He responds back to me, "Well, I know who you voted for in the last election." And at this point, it's really not hitting me. I'm not getting his drift. I don't know what's going on. And my response to him is, "No, I don't think you do, because you don't know anything about me." So then he's like, comes out with some really clear communication here. So now I'm starting to get the drift. And he goes, "You look like a man." Well, the words came out of my mouth before I could stop them, before they even had any thought process. It just went from brain to the world, and there was no editing or anything. And what came out of my mouth was, "Good, I'm glad I look like a man because I got a big set of fucking balls." Okay, so now at this point, I'm yelling this in the middle of a convenience store, and my husband's like, "Oh shit, this is escalating." And he gets into protection mode, steps in between me and this man who is yelling at me, and says, "Yo, that's my wife." Now, for those of you that don't know what my husband looks like, he's 6'2", pretty broad shoulders, and looks like a Viking. So kind of intimidating. The other man is sitting there going, "Okay, wait a second." Like, he's confused. He's like, "Oh, so she's a girl? Like, she's not." Now at this point, he's realizing I'm not transgender, and he's confused, but he's not going to give up this fight. So he goes to my husband, "Do you want to take this outside?" And at this point, I'm really worried. Like, I'm anxious. I'm flipping out. And because my husband, while he is a very docile giant, he also is ex-military, and I have absolutely no idea what's going to set off in his brain and make him like lose his shit. Okay. But thankfully he is calm, and he's like, "What are we in high school? Like, come on, you're going to do this in front of your kids?" Yes. The man is holding an infant, and he's got a toddler next to him. Okay, and this is all happening in the middle of a convenience store. So before anything can escalate any further, his wife shows up. And now this could go either way. She could either be on his side or be on our side. But thankfully, she was on our side with all of this. And she looks at him and she's like, "You're really going to do this in front of the kids?" And then she takes him out of there. But man, I was worried that they were going to call the cops, that this is going to escalate, that I was going to die today, okay? On a very serious note, this is what transgender people go through on a daily basis. Like, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. And it was scary in the moment. I was fearful for my life. I was fearful for my husband's life. I didn't know what was going to happen. This guy was like on void rage or something. Like his responses were so out of context that, you know, from like normal responses, like even the people surrounding us were like, "I don't know what's happening right now. This is so weird." I had the guy behind us said, "I'm so sorry that happened to you," because he could tell that it was so uncalled for. So just a bit of awareness, and I wanted to share this story.
Yesterday, one of my worst fears came true. I went on a date with a MAGA. And if you know me or have been following me, you know this is this is equivalent to hell. In the past, I've dated all over the political spectrum, but that was the past. In the present day, you know, MAGA, you're a whole different, you're a different entity. Let me be clear, he was nice, okay? But what gave it away was when I said, "What's going on in the country right now is crazy," right? And he's like, "Huh?" I quickly realized this isn't going to work, so I pulled the whole. My dad was Democratic chairman of Illinois, and I can tell he was holding his MAGA back, you know, because he was like, "But Obama deported more people." He was doing the go-to MAGA lines, "But Obama deported more people. Why is it different?" Because he did it legally. He did it legally. I think he realized that I'm not the one to argue with, you know, because I know my shit. MAGAs just need a girl who is quiet, doesn't have a personality, and just sits there. That's what those are their girls. Yeah, I'm a little traumatized from this experience, so please keep me in your thoughts and prayers because this has never happened before. Ooh.
As someone who was raised MAGA, the sad reality is that a lot of white women only vote the way they do because of their husbands. And white women are a demographic of people that consistently, historically have voted against their own interests. If you are a white MAGA woman, I want to tell you right now, there's a high chance that your husband is probably cheating on you. And if he's not doing it in the physical world, he's doing it in an online space. Most people who consume OnlyFans and other content are married. And here are some messages that I have gotten in my DMs on Instagram. This guy directly says that he hates his wife and he is trying to get me to send him explicit content or whatever. I don't do that, but point being, I like to talk to these men to see what is going on in their lives and where they live. And if I can, I will try to get a hold of their wives. Can't even tell you how common of a pattern this is and how many messages I get of married MAGA men trying to get me to engage in this work with them. So if you are a woman and you voted MAGA, be careful where you place your loyalty. It's always better to think for yourself than relying on him, because look what he's doing behind your back.
This is everything we hate about MAGA politics. Did you guys see this video of Republican Senator Deb Fischer's husband refusing to shake Kamala Harris's hand during Fischer's swearing-in ceremony earlier this week?
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for your work. Thank you. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Okay, sure. Okay.
That makes a little bit. There you go. Thank you so much.
Hey guy, what are you so mad about? Your wife was just sworn in as senator. She won her election. Trump won the election. Again, what are you so mad about? This entire MAGA movement continues to be built entirely on phony outrage. So damn pathetic.
So, even in dating apps, single men and women shy away to talk about their political alliance for fear of losing their matches. You know what I mean? So when I'm usually idle, I scroll down these dating apps due to curiosity. And sometimes I see profile pictures featuring Trump or individuals on MAGA hats that are repulsive to most liberal women who feel that they would be joining such relationships with men's sole aim being to control them. Some young conservatives, men, are in fact finding it hard to get love out there. You find that Lily on Insta or Facebook, you share some text, some kind of, but when she decides to scroll down your page, maybe to see your older pictures, maybe to get a glimpse of you, she finds a post of you with the caption, "Trump won, we did it." And with Trump's history of sexism and some accusing him of flat-out racism and the lady tells the young man, oh, please, don't text me again. Oh, please, don't talk to me again. I really hate the idea that politics exists in a vacuum. My values are simple. I want to help people who are less fortunate than I am. And this is justified through social and fiscal policies of our government and the party. And the Republican Party has been worse in those. There are two types of Trump supporters. Number one, they are uninformed. So why would you date a man who can't inform himself? And the second is careless. Why would you date a man who would like to hurt other people? Why? Men who vote for a president who has tried to roll back women's rights, control their body, and are accused of assault against women is a deal breaker for many single women out there. That's a fact. A Republican voter character is alarming. Someone with no respect to basic human rights and who feels intimidated by careers and success of women is a no-go zone. Tell me your thoughts. So until the next video, talk blue, vote blue, listen blue, and until the next time, I thank you for your attention to this matter.